Welcome back to the Stan Simpson Show, here with our special guest, Hartford Fire Chief Charles Teale, retiring after 27 years in the business, going to pursue his doctorate degree in psychology. We were talking about education, and I threw in there public office, so I want to keep focused. Let's talk about education first, and then your future, including possibly public office, who knows, but let's go back to education. You're a high school dropout. You mentioned that you didn't do well. You know, in Hartford, you have probably a 62% rate kids drop out. So what exactly, why did you drop out? What exactly was the reason, or were the reasons?
No, there are a lot of reasons. I mean, I've given it a great deal of thought because I've talked with so many children about the importance of staying in school, and quite frankly, I don't know if I can address it sufficiently. The environment, the learning environment was just not comfortable for me for a variety of reasons. I was having a challenging time learning, understanding, retaining information. And one of the things that I did do when I became a firefighter is I developed a system of learning methodology, which I share with as many people as I possibly can. I call the tools of learning. And the reason why I developed it, pardon me, the reason why I developed it is so that people like myself who have a challenging time comprehending information can expedite the process of doing so. It's a very effective method, once again, something that I developed, and it helps people to retain the information. So I was having a difficult time with the learning process.
And the culture wasn't great for you either. The whole environment wasn't great for you.
No, it wasn't. And that's probably another show kind of thing. Okay. I mean, I came to realize that one of the things that the mayor did for us, Mayor Perez, is he took all the department heads and he sent us to the Graduate Institute. And we went through this testing process called the Myers-Briggs test, where we came to understand that there are various personality types. And I came to realize that I am an INFJ. And what that means is 1% of the people in the world are INFJs. I'm just different.
What does INFJ mean? Or just summarize it.
In essence, I'm the kind of person that, no, it isn't type A or anything like that. What it means is I'm the kind of person that likes to isolate. You know, I don't like to be around a lot of people. I'm intuitive. The F portion is the feeling portion, very empathetic, and the J portion is judgment. You know, I have a tendency to make assessments of individuals and decide accordingly. So, you know, that kind of a person is not inclined to really do well in an environment where there are a lot of people. I have to fight against that tendency to get on stage and actually give a speech, for example, goes against my natural tendency.
But before you got to that point,
yes.
Doc Hurley gave you a little pep talk and said, son, what? Real quick.
Very quickly, I went to Mr. Hurley's home when I was 17 years of age.
Right.
And I mean, I literally remember going back and forth up and down the street, Rayfield Street.
At that time, he was assistant principal at Weaver High School, right?
He may have been. Quite frankly, I'm not sure what his title was. I remember him as, he was my gym teacher when I was in the 5th and 6th grade.
But his advice was what? We have a short on time. So his advice was what? Kids are watching.
He told me, he said, after listening to me, he says, you need an education. And he referred me to a gentleman by the name of Bill Edmonds. And actually, the two of them together worked to help me to get out from what I was doing, which was nothing. I wasn't doing anything with my life, I was just drifting.
So you were mentored. You were mentored, bottom line.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm always out there trying to help people. And that's why I'm going back to school to get my doctorate in clinical psychology.
Now, I want to go back now, move forward. You mentioned as part of your leadership style, you like being sort of alone and by yourself. As a leader, how lonely is leadership? When you have your personality, how lonely is it for you to have to instill discipline and to lead?
As fire chief, it is completely in total isolation. There is the only person who can fully relate to what I experience in this position is my wife, Helene. That's it.
Does that add to your stress? It adds to the whole stress of the job?
It certainly does.
I want to show you a quote in the Hartford Courant where you said about the whole management decisions. You said, I lost some people's respect for making tough decisions. I thought if I was upfront and honest, everyone would understand.
Yes.
Talk about that, because I'm going to bet two things here. As an African-American fire chief, one, you had expectations from black firefighters and Latinos and whites, and that even that added, compounded to the problem of being a leader, being someone of color in leadership.
Yeah, I did not have a problem with any groups of individuals in particular, because I had a very even-handed system of addressing everyone. So no one received preferential treatment.
But you lost some close, but you made some enemies. You hurt some feelings, obviously. You made some people who were friends. So how painful is that when you're leading and now you've lost people based on your decisions?
It is extremely painful initially, and as you look back after doing this for 10 years, once again, you are completely and totally isolated. You really, really are. But in a sense, you have to be in order for you to judge fairly. In other words, if a person comes to me and they are of a particular race or national origin and they're expecting to get a job, and there are people who support them, want them to get the job, and I say, no, I'm sorry, you don't have the training, the education, the experience necessary to get the job. You haven't displayed the level of commitment that I want for you to get the job. I've made that decision very objectively based upon merit. When you do that, you create people or groups of people who don't care for your leadership style, simply because they didn't get what they wanted, because they wanted their person based upon race. It's not going to happen. Not with me.
A minute 30 left. There's two tracks here. One, you're going for your doctorates in psychology. You want to work with wayward kids like yourself, get them on track. But what if, and you've heard the whispers, public office opens up, a mayor's election is going to happen probably in 18 months. Your name's going to be floated for mayor, for senator. You know it, I know it. What about public office?
Everyone has been very kind when they think of me to run for public office.
In fact, you said a few years back, I read somewhere that you wanted to go into public office. A senator, I think, right?
That was state office, yes.
State senator. What happened there?
I came to realize this is exactly what happens, and I wish everyone could keep this in mind. When you are in a leadership position and you have to make decisions, sometimes you make them based on facts that you can't share with the general public. So you make a decision based on facts that you have. No one else has these facts. And when you make the decision, they go, why in the world would he make a decision like that? There are laws, policies that govern how much information you can share when you are in public office.
So are you going to, so that mean you're in or out? Could you be tempted if they came to you and said, Chief, here's an opportunity, we'll back you, here's an opening, it's a chance to lead, to set policy, to be a role model? No. Are you foreclosing the thought of that?
I'm not even considering it.
Not at all?
No, sir. I am focused.
All right.
And one of the things that I tell people is, if you're going to succeed in any endeavor, you've got to be focused. I'm focused on the learning process. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to the next 5 years being in a learning environment. And, I tell everyone that the enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, which means the God within. And there are two keys to enthusiasm. One is accomplishment. The other one is learning. I'm going back to the learning environment. I'm staying there until I've got my doctorate.
All right. We're going to check in with you. Thanks to retiring Hartford Chief Charles Teale. When we come back, folks, we'll talk to a breast cancer survivor none too pleased about a controversial new study on breast exams. Don't go away.